Hey, what's up guys? Okay, so how many of you are using your trigger point ball, you're placing it in this general area of your traps and your rhomboids, and you're just rolling, but you don't know exactly which muscle you're rolling on, or if you're doing the right muscle to soften it, or if the ball's in the right place, or you're doing the right pressure. I'm going to show you today a comprehensive muscle breakdown so that you can see exactly which muscles you're targeting and you can work specifically on those muscles. Okay, so here I have a 3D anatomy model. This is really going to help you visualize all those areas that you need to work on. Now, I don't want to go too in depth of all the muscles and confuse everybody. I just want to give you the general idea. So as you can see, your back has quite a vast number of muscles, and your trap is one of the biggest muscles. It goes all the way from your neck into your shoulder and down your middle back. Now, this affects all the other muscles around it. So it's going to affect your shoulder. It can pull further onto your scalene muscles, and it can also wing your scapula by pulling it away from your body when it starts getting tight. So this area just above your scapula is where I love to place my ball. I place it here and I try to break this tissue down, and I try to rotate my shoulder and move it around, because that's what loosens it up. You got to break this down so that it remembers to stay loose while you're rotating your arm up and outward, just so that this shoulder blade moves around in this muscle once it's loose. And doing this continually will help break that muscle down. It will help keep it softer, and all those myofascial tissues won't remember to be stiff. They'll stay in a relaxed position. So you want to work on this area. You want to work on your upper traps because of all the stress that they contain, and this is where it gets very hard. When you first place the ball here, it's going to feel extremely sensitive and sore. Now, this is because all these tissues all along here are so tense and tight, and now they've learned to stay in that tense position. That's what muscle memory is. So when you're rolling, you're getting these muscles to lengthen and relax as they should, and that's what causes a lot of the pain and the flare-up the next day, because you're loosening these muscles for the first time in such a long time that they're not used to it, and it's almost like they've had trauma and now they need to repair themselves. So that's why with trigger point therapy, when you're rolling in this area, you want to take it very gently initially. Now, I'm using a hockey ball, which is extremely hard, and I put a lot of pressure on it, and I can take that pain. But initially I was using a tennis ball and it was so soft, but I still was getting flare-ups. So you just have to remember, this upper trap region is very sensitive, but it's also very strong. So you need to start slowly and softly and work your way up to get that muscle loose and that muscle memory to remember to stay loose. Another muscle that gets tight is your rhomboids. Now, your rhomboids are right underneath your trap here. I'm going to try to get this away. Okay, so here are your rhomboid muscles. You've got the rhomboid major and the rhomboid minor. Now, as you can see, it's attached to your spine and attached to your shoulder blade. So a lot of TOS sufferers get winging of the scapula. Now, these are the muscles that are responsible. If you have weak rhomboid muscles, these are the muscles that hold your scapula down to your rib cage and keep them fixed against the thoracic area. So when these muscles are weak, you're going to get that winging because you've got no stability in the shoulder blade, and everything's going to pop around your shoulder joint. It's going to feel like your shoulder's not hinged correctly, and it's just going to feel very unstable. This is all due to your rhomboid muscles. Another problem that can happen with a lot of TOS sufferers, they don't get a winging of the scapula. They actually get a tight scapula that's actually fixed to their body, that can't move and can't rotate, and they can't lift their arms above their head because this is so tight. Their rhomboids are so tight that it's holding the scapula in such a fixed position that you can't move your shoulder blade, which limits your entire range of motion, and then you're going to get your neck compensating and you get all these other issues. So focusing on your rhomboid muscles is a huge area to focus on, because you need to get them stronger and you need to get them loosened up. Now, the balance between those two issues is quite difficult to get, but when you're rolling with your ball, you're going to feel this area is usually quite tight, and it's almost like a nodule. When you roll your ball over, it like clicks to the one side or clicks to the other side. So you got to take it slow here as well. But when you're doing your upper middle back, this is the area to focus on, because your rhomboids lie right underneath your trap muscle here. So your traps, your rhomboids, it's all this area here, but you can see that it connects straight into your shoulder, straight to your scapula, and getting these muscles here loose is really going to help you with that range of motion, and stretching it is going to keep that muscle more and more relaxed. Initially it's going to feel sore and it's going to feel like it's not working, but if you get that balance right, you're going to get a loose rhomboid, which in turn gives you a better range of motion in your scapula and your shoulder, and your shoulder is going to start feeling more stable, and that's going to put less pressure on your trap and your neck. So the rhomboids are very important muscles to focus on when you're doing your trigger point therapy. This is for everybody. If you've had surgery as well and you've got a lot of scar tissue in your trap, rhomboids are probably also still tight, and you probably have scar tissue in your trap that you have to try and loosen up as well. Your body's always trying to keep balance. So if you take something out, if you're taking that top rib out, you have that rib resection, the scar tissue is going to build up, other muscles are going to try compensate, and you have to keep this in mind. Whenever you're taking things and messing up things with your body, other muscles are going to take over, like your chest and your scalene muscles. When you're breathing really heavy, your scalene muscles and your chest help you breathe deeper, but you need to breathe with the diaphragm normally. But most of us with TOS are breathing with our scalenes, which puts extra pressure, so just breathing gives you a flare up. A lot of people don't know that, so that's why you have to focus on your diaphragmic breathing. Okay, so this is the first video that I'm going to do in this series. I'm going to do a whole bunch more and cover all the muscles that are involved and all the trigger point places where you can massage to get that relief and get that long-term recovery, which trains your muscles to stay in that relaxed position and get your normal range of motion back. So just subscribe to the channel and like the video. You can turn on the little bell and you'll get updated on the new videos that are coming out, just so that you can see the videos and you don't miss any. And I hope this helps you with your recovery.